The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers study and planning process is a key step in determining the feasibility of proposed projects to address some of the toughest challenges facing the nation.
Our framework has been around for decades, and the current methodology as described in our regulations has been around for at least 20 years. But it's not the only way to evaluate potential recommendations for future water resources infrastructure.
Which is why the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Institute for Water Resources is partnering with the Fort Worth District on a pilot study, which is looking at using the collaborative risk-informed decision analysis method to see how well it will address some of the future challenges being faced along the Trinity River.
This is a very, very important watershed to the Corps and to the state. And so we're always trying to be, kind of forward-thinking and progressive with this watershed, planning for the future. And so one thing that we're particularly interested in with this study is looking at, climate and population projections. So we have a huge economy that's booming in Texas. We have the second largest economy in the United States. That's 8th largest in the world if it was its own country in Texas. And, so we're trying to protect that, but by ensuring that we have water in the future. And we're also protecting this population in the future.
CRIDA's methodology is a bit different than what USACE studies currently use.
One of the hallmarks of CRIDA is that it's a bottom-up approach. You look at what the stakeholders and folks that are dependent on that water system are concerned about and work back through that to develop adaptive management approaches for that water system.
Rather than looking at a project that will be built out in the beginning to handle the potential future, the CRIDA method looks at alternatives and incremental implementations of the plan based on actual trigger points throughout the plan's lifespan.
We evaluate those thresholds, determine which ones are most critical to the management of that system, and we utilize stress tests to find all the ways that we can break the water system and hit those failure thresholds. And by understanding the combination of circumstances that can cause us to fail, we work back to develop adaptive management strategies and mitigations that delay when we would hit that failure point, or potentially keep us from hitting the failure point.
Using the CRIDA methodology in this pilot study will help determine if it can be used for future USACE planning initiatives.
What I think we really need to have is a methodology which leads to more resilient recommendations, resilient plans being considered. And so that is, to me, an opportunity to improve our planning process by applying the CRIDA methodology.
For the team working on the pilot study, the hope is CRIDA will give them a deep look at the system and how the system will perform during extreme events.
What we're hoping to achieve is better engagement with the stakeholders, more awareness of climate change associated vulnerabilities within our current infrastructure here in the Trinity River Basin.
The Trinity River Study is a year-long, $200,000 pilot project supported by the USACE Climate Resilience and Preparedness Community of Practice. The study is being worked in collaboration with the Institute for Water Resources to apply the CRIDA framework to hydrologic modeling and water management practices within civil works operational and planning contexts.